Howdy everybody, welcome to SSHorror channel. I will be your captain for today. We got a great review on Hush coming up, so sit back, take a dip, and enjoy. Welcome back. This is your captain speaking. Before we get into the review, let's do a little dip. Today, got General Snooze, all the way from Sweden. This is the white pouches. Done it before. Snooze goes in the upper decker. Doesn't produce a lot of spit. It's good stuff. There it is right there. Toss that in the upper decker and let's get started. The white portions, not pouches, they taste kind of like a Earl Grey tea. So if you run your tongue up underneath the pouch, you get a little taste of that white Earl Grey tea. All right, so let's dive right into this thing. First, we got the movie details. Hush came out in 2016, and it's rated R. Great for horror movies. Horror movies, in my opinion, need to be rated R sometimes. Haven't seen an insane amount of good ones that are PG-13. This was written by Mike Flanagan and Kate Siegel, who happens to be our main actress of the movie. It's directed by Mike Flanagan, who also directed movies like Oculus and Ouija, Origin of Evil. The music was done by the Newton brothers, who also worked on Oculus and Ouija. Production, distribution, we got Blumhouse Production, BH Productions, if you know them, and Intrepid Pictures. So, this movie has a running time of 87 minutes, and for those of you like me who can't do the math, that is 1 hour and 27 minutes long. I personally watch this on Netflix because I have a Netflix subscription, and that's just easiest for me. During it, I did dip some Red Man, just FYI. The theme. Let's talk about the theme. So this is your it's an atypical slasher serial killer movie with a twist. Now our main protagonist, she's a female, which, that's pretty common, but she is deaf and mute. That's right, folks. She can't talk and she can't hear. So that makes for an interesting story, which is what we're going to talk about next. Now remember, this is spoiler free, so no chances of spoiling it for you in case you want to go watch it. So, like I said, we got a female protagonist. She works as a writer. She's in a secluded house out in the middle of the sticks up in the mountain somewhere in a forest. Neighbors probably not too close by, although some of them do show up. Oops, spoiler. No, I'm just kidding. They do show up every once in a while, though. And she's dealing with a breakup. That's all I'm going to tell you. Other than the fact that she does get stalked by a serial killer. I don't know if he's a serial killer, if it's his first time, not too much history behind the killer. But, still pretty good. Pretty good setup. So after the story, we're going to talk about Scariness. Now, this movie, the fear factor comes from the fact that she's deaf. She's in that secluded house, and you really got to just relate to her to understand where the fear is coming from, for what her fear is. Throughout this movie, the killer is toying with her because he does discover that she is deaf and mute, and so he uses that to kind of torture her in a sorts. Basically, he could kill her at any time, he could break in the house at any time, but he chooses to do it a little bit more slowly. There are some scenes that illustrate her deafness, so like you'll have no sound, or you'll have that little white noise kind of sound that you get when you're plugging your ears or such. You can hear heartbeat in there sometimes. Really cool effect. But the bottom line is, this isn't really a scary movie. For me personally, I slept just fine the night I watched it last night. But if you're afraid of that human on human type of theme, then this might be a little scary for you. I know some people that don't like that kind of thing because it hits a little too close to home because, technically that something like this could really happen. Not dealing with ghosts or ghouls or anything. We're dealing with human on human. Let's get into the pros and cons. Pros. This is a short movie, so that means less time to mess it up, which in my opinion, horror movies should kind of stick to the 90-minute mark, and this is right in that sweet spot. It's got classic slasher elements, including those stupidity moments where you're just thinking, "Oh, don't do that! Don't go in there! Don't open that! Don't run! Don't make a noise! Whatever." So there's plenty of that in there for all you that like that, which I do like that. I like to stick to the classics. Another pro is that she has an inner monologue, so it's pretty interesting because she doesn't talk and she signs the whole time, and it's in subtitles when she signs, which is really cool. But there are some moments where you actually hear her inner monologue, like her voice talking to herself, which I find really cool. I think that adds a feeling that this is a person with feelings. She's not dissociated with the world. She does understand what's going on. Another pro is the amazing sound and sound effects. Like I said, there's not a lot of much dialogue coming from her, so got to rely on these sounds and sound effects, and they do a beautiful job of illustrating that. It's kind of like that movie WALL-E, made all with sound. And there is some dialogue in WALL-E, and there's some dialogue in this, but, kind of weird to compare this to a Disney movie, but, it's kind of the same concept there. There is an epic WTF moment towards the end of this thing. The scene is awesome, and it had me going, what? But, you'll see when you get to it if you watch this sucker, or if you already have, you know what I'm talking about. One other thing that I liked is the ending had a resolution. At the end of this movie, there's no question about whether or not, there's no loose ends. It ends. And you're like, okay, well, that was a good beginning and end, and it ended. Great. I like that. Some cons. So, sometimes with these slasher serial killer flicks, you can get a lot of stupidity moments, and this is no exception. There is a bunch, and sometimes they get annoying. But, just power through. Like I said, it's not a long movie, so you could do it. It drags on a little bit while it's kind of creeping up there to the climax. Not a deal breaker, but, just in my opinion, once you watch it, tell me in the comments if you agree, but I think that those moments could have been filled a little bit more with her inner monologue so that you know what she's thinking through this thing. And it's obvious kind of when you're watching it, but at the same time, I feel like if they would have just had her inner monologue, it might have been a little bit more interesting and kept you a little bit more engaged with the flick. So yeah, those are the only two cons that I got. The rating, I would say that this is worth a watch. Now, this isn't a must-see movie that you got to rush out and go check out, but it's got some original elements that really set it apart from other movies in this genre, and I like those. Now, like I said, it's short, so it's still it's worth a watch. Go check it out, honestly, and sound off in the comments and let me know what you thought. Or if you've already seen it, let me know what your opinion is as compared to mine. Don't forget to like, subscribe, check us out on Twitter and Facebook. Links in the description. Shoot us an email, shoot us a comment with what you'd like to see next. We did get a comment on our previous intro video for The Witch. And The Witch, I think, is what we're going to review next. And I'll probably try to get that review up on Friday. Got some things going on, so I'm going to be a little bit busy for the next few days, but I wanted to get this out for our first video review. So we are going to do The Witch, and if you want to watch The Witch right now before we get to it, go ahead and sign into your Amazon Prime, or if you don't have Amazon Prime, I recommend getting Amazon Prime. Watch this movie. It's The Witch. Again, it's a very, very, very unique movie, and we'll be doing a review on it, so look forward to that in the future. Again, I'm always up for suggestions, so shoot them in the comments. And thank you for watching. This has been your captain speaking. Keep it spooky, y'all.